This is the very first Gear 5 Luffy figure from Grandista. And today, we are going to take a closer look at the figure and answer three key questions for us to know if it deserves a permanent spot on our collection. For the past few days, I've seen endless posts and memes about the number of episodes for the first season of One Piece. Personally, I was not able to caught up with the episodes yet, but as we wait for the release of its new season, allow me to share my thoughts about Grandista's very first figure release for one of its most iconic form of Luffy, which is Gear 5. And I want this review to be useful by helping you decide whether this figure is a good fit for your collection and whether it's worth buying or keeping if you already own it. We'll do that by answering these questions. Number 1, does the figure feel premium? Next, does the figure have a potential to age well in your collection? And lastly, are there any flaws that may be a reason to skip it? And to start, let's take a closer look into the figure. Now that we're able to see the figure's details, let's start on the first question. Does the figure feel premium? I consider a figure as premium based on its paint application, sculpt, and accuracy. And even though there are no shadings on this figure, I can say that Grandista did well on capturing the Gear 5 color palette with its white hair and clothes with purple sash. And when it comes to the sculpt and accuracy, the wide, mischievous grin and swirly eyebrows are accurate to Oda's design, reflecting Luffy's joy and laughter during combat. They also capture the small details like the scar on Luffy's face, chest, and scratch marks on Luffy's hat. I also wanted to highlight the clouds that serve a dual purpose, which is to create an illusion that Luffy is flying or floating, and to also serve as its base, which is way better than the foot supports from previous Grandista releases. So if you'll ask me, I can definitely say that yes, this figure feels premium for its price. Now let's go with the next question. If the figure has the potential to age well in your collection. Starting with the aesthetics of the figure, if you love Gear 5 or would just like to have a figure of Luffy in general, I can say that due to its iconic design and form, the figure has the potential to stand out on your collection. So unless you prefer a different form of Luffy, a different pose from future releases, or a figure from a different line, I can confidently say that there's no reason to let go or skip this figure. When it comes to aging well and preserving your figures, another factor to consider is the figure's material stability. I live in the Philippines, so the typical climate here may cause cheap figure materials to soften, become sticky, or brittle. But the good thing with Grandista figures is they generally use ABS and quality PVC to ensure that the figure will not easily bend over time. generally most, if not all, the previous releases from Grandista still holds up to this date. So I must say that this figure has high potential to age well on your collection. Moving on to the next question. Does it have any flaws that may be a reason for you not to buy the figure? So I've been seeing collectors online who are expressing their dissatisfaction with the seam line visible on the figure's shoulder. Personally, I would say that this is not really noticeable due to the cloud-like vest, so you'll only see it when you really look closer into the figure. But if you prefer a figure without the seam line or consider the seam line as a flaw, you may want to wait for further releases since even the version 2 has the same seam line as well. As a budget collector, if I have to recommend a figure of Luffy Gear 5, it would be this first version from Grandista. It has a great size, an iconic design, and it's well detailed that feels that the character jumped out of the manga panel. I personally recommend this figure and will add it on my figure display for my favorite main character protagonists. But what are your thoughts on this Grandista Luffy? Let me know in the comments below. And if you like this kind of content, consider subscribing to my channel if you haven't already. And I'll see you all on the next one. Speaking of small details like the scratch mark on Luffy's hat, I'll also be reviewing another Grandista figure next episode. One that comes with this one.